My name's Lena Carter, and the night everything broke? It started with something as stupid as taking out the trash. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. I just grabbed the downstairs bathroom bag because it smelled funky, like something sour had been sitting too long. I tied it up, lifted it, and that's when I heard the rattle. Light, plastic. I don't know why I looked. Maybe instinct. Maybe something in my gut already knew. 2 pregnancy tests. Both positive. I just stood there in the hallway, trash bag in my hand, heart pounding like I'd been caught doing something wrong. At first, I thought they were mine. Yeah. Mine. Because here's the thing, my husband, Derek, and I had been trying. Not actively, not in some Pinterest perfect baby planning way, but it was there. The conversation. The hope. Even if things between us had been weird lately. Cold. Distant. Like we were roommates who occasionally remembered we used to be in love. So yeah, my brain went there first. Maybe I forgot? Maybe I took one and blacked out? Sounds crazy, but when your world's about to flip, your mind reaches for anything that makes sense. But then I noticed the brand. Not the one I'd ever used. And then I remembered something that made my stomach drop so hard I thought I might throw up right there on the carpet. The upstairs bathroom. I ran up like I was being chased. Opened the cabinet. Nothing. Checked the trash. Empty. Too empty. That's when I felt it, that slow, creeping dread crawling up my spine. Because there was only one other woman in my house. My stepdaughter. Kayla. 21. College senior. And suddenly, nothing felt normal anymore. I didn't confront anyone. Not yet. I'm not that girl who starts screaming without receipts. No, I watch. I wait. I connect dots. And damn, the dots started connecting real fast. Kayla had been acting off for weeks. Always on her phone. Jumping at notifications. Leaving the house at random hours like she had somewhere to be but didn't want anyone asking questions. And Derek? He'd been working late a lot more. Gym more often. New cologne. Smiling at his phone like a teenager. I told myself I was overthinking. That I was being paranoid. But that night, lying in bed next to him while he scrolled and smirked at whatever was lighting up his screen, I knew. Something in my house was rotten. And I was about to find out just how deep it went. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a second. I just lay there next to Derek, staring at the ceiling while his breathing got heavier, slower, peaceful. Like he didn't have a care in the world. Meanwhile, my mind was spiraling. 2 pregnancy tests. Different brand. Hidden in the downstairs trash. Kayla acting weird. Derek acting off. It didn't add up. But it also added up way too perfectly. The next morning, I played it cool. Made coffee. Asked Derek how he slept. Smiled like nothing was wrong. Got a late meeting tonight, he said, not even looking at me. Of course you do. Cool, I replied, taking a sip like my hands weren't shaking. I might go out too. He nodded. Didn't ask where. Didn't care. That hurt more than I expected. Kayla came downstairs about 20 minutes later. Hoodie, messy bun, no makeup, but her eyes? Red. Like she'd been crying. Morning, I said gently. She froze for half a second. Then forced a smile. Hey. Awkward. Tense. Like we were both pretending we weren't hiding something. I watched her pour cereal, barely touching it, constantly checking her phone. Every buzz made her flinch. Yeah. Something was definitely going on. The second she left for class, I moved. Fast. I'm not proud of it, but I went into her room. And before you judge me, understand this: when your gut is screaming at you, you listen. Her room was clean. Too clean. Like staged. But people always miss something. It took me 5 minutes. 5 minutes to find the truth hiding in plain sight. A small box under her bed. Not locked. Just tucked away like she hoped no one would look. Inside? Another pregnancy test box. Empty. Different brand than the one downstairs. My chest tightened. 2 brands. 2 locations. 2 women. I sat on her bed, staring at that box, and that's when it hit me like a punch to the throat. What if this wasn't just about Kayla? What if? No. No way. But the thought was already there, growing, spreading like poison. Because Derek had been distant with me. But not distant from his phone. Not distant from his late nights. Not distant from someone. My heart started racing again, but this time it wasn't confusion. It was fear. And anger. The kind that simmers before it explodes. That evening, I decided to stop guessing. I was going to get answers. Real ones. Derek left around 6 p.m., dressed way too sharp for a meeting. Button-down shirt, cologne I'd never bought him, that same stupid smirk on his face. "Don't wait up," he said. "Oh, I won't." The second he pulled out of the driveway, I grabbed my keys and followed. Yeah. I went there. And what I saw? It didn't just confirm my suspicions. It shattered every single piece of my life. Because Derek didn't go to work. He went to a small apartment complex across town. And 10 minutes later, Kayla showed up. I should have driven away. That's what a sane person would do, right? Turn the car around. Pretend you saw nothing. Save yourself the trauma. But I didn't. I parked across the street, hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. My heart was pounding so loud I swear I could hear it echo in the car. Kayla stepped out of her car, looking around like she didn't want to be seen. That alone made my stomach twist. Then she walked straight into the same apartment building Derek had just entered. No hesitation. No confusion. Like she'd been there before. My brain tried to fight it. No. No way. Maybe she's meeting someone else. Maybe Derek's coincidence. Maybe. But deep down, I already knew. 10 minutes passed. 15. I couldn't sit there anymore. I got out of the car, legs shaky, like I was walking into my own execution. Each step toward that building felt heavier than the last. The hallway smelled like cheap cleaner and old carpet. Dim lights flickering overhead. I checked the mailboxes. Apartment 3B. Derek's last name wasn't there. But that didn't mean anything. I moved quietly down the hall, stopping outside 3B. My heart was racing so fast I thought I might pass out right there. And then I heard it. Laughter. Kayla's laugh. Soft. Nervous. Followed by Derek's voice. Low. Familiar. Too familiar. My entire body went cold. "No one knows," Derek said, his tone calm, reassuring. Kayla's voice came next, shaky. "This is messed up. We shouldn't." "You think I don't know that," he cut in. "But it's too late now." Silence. Then. "I'm pregnant, Derek." I swear the world stopped. Everything inside me just snapped. Because hearing it in my head was one thing. Hearing her say it out loud? That was something else entirely. Derek didn't panic. Didn't sound shocked. Didn't sound confused. He just exhaled slowly and said, "We'll handle it." Handle it. Like it was some minor inconvenience. Like she wasn't his stepdaughter. Like I wasn't his wife. Tears blurred my vision, but I didn't move. I couldn't. I was frozen, listening to my entire life burn down on the other side of a cheap wooden door. I didn't know about you and Lena at first, Kayla whispered. My name. Hearing my name come out of her mouth in that moment felt like a knife twisting in my chest. I swear, if I had known. Hey, Derek interrupted softly. It just happened. It just happened. That's what cheaters always say, right? Like betrayal is some accident. Like they slipped and fell into someone else's bed. But this? This wasn't just cheating. This was sick. Twisted. Unforgivable. I stepped back slowly, my legs barely holding me up. I felt like I might collapse right there in the hallway. But I didn't knock. I didn't scream. I didn't make a scene. Because in that moment, something inside me shifted. Snapped into place. Cold. Clear. Focused. I wasn't going to confront them like some emotional wreck. No. I was going to destroy them. Piece by piece. Starting with the truth. And ending with consequences they'd never see coming. I didn't confront them that night. Yeah, I know, that sounds crazy. Most people would have kicked the door in, gone full meltdown, screamed until the whole building heard. But not me. I walked back to my car, sat there in silence, and let everything settle into place. Because anger? That burns fast. But strategy? That lasts. By the time Derek got home that night, I was already in bed, pretending to scroll on my phone like nothing happened. Hey, he said casually, tossing his keys down. Hey, I replied, not even looking up. He acted normal. Too normal. Like he hadn't just crossed a line that should have never even existed. That told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't new. This wasn't a mistake. This was ongoing. Calculated. And that meant one thing, I needed proof. Solid, undeniable proof. Not just for me. For what I was about to do next. The next few days, I became someone else. Quieter. Observant. Patient. I tracked everything. Derek's schedule. His late nights. His calls. I even checked the phone bill, yeah, I went there. And guess what? There was one number that kept popping up. Over and over. Same number. Hours of calls. Late nights. Early mornings. And it wasn't saved under Kayla's name. It was saved as Mike, work. Cute. Real subtle. But numbers don't lie. And neither do patterns. Then I checked Kayla's phone. Yeah, I waited until she left it charging in the kitchen and I moved quick. Same number. Saved under a different name. Ava. I almost laughed. They really thought they were slick. That's when it clicked even deeper. This wasn't just some messed up secret. This was a whole system. A double life. And they thought I'd never figure it out. Big mistake. That night, I called the number from a blocked ID. My heart was steady. Voice calm. Prepared. He picked up on the third ring. Hello? Derek's voice. No hesitation. No confusion. Just him. I didn't say anything for a second. Just breathed. Let the silence stretch. Hello, he repeated, slightly annoyed. Then I spoke, lowering my voice just enough. You need to fix this. Silence. Sharp. Immediate. Who is this? He asked. You know exactly what this is about, I said quietly. And you're running out of time. Another pause. Longer this time. Then. He hung up. Just like that. No denial. No anger. Just fear. And that? That was all the confirmation I needed. Because guilty people don't ask questions. They panic. That night, I sat in the living room alone, staring at the dark TV screen, my reflection looking back at me like a stranger. I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was done. Done being lied to. Done being disrespected. Done being the only one playing fair. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to expose them in pieces. No. I was going to bring everything into the light. All at once. And when I did, there would be no hiding. No excuses. No way out. Just truth. Raw. Ugly. And impossible to ignore. I didn't rush it. That's the part people don't get. You don't drop a bomb unless you know exactly where it's gonna land. So I waited 3 more days. Collected everything. Call logs. Screenshots. Dates. Times. Patterns. I even drove past that apartment twice more, just to make sure I wasn't crazy. I wasn't. Same routine. Same lies. Same disgusting secret playing out like clockwork. By the 4th night, I was ready. Hey, I said casually over dinner, pushing food around my plate. Can we all sit down later? Like, actually talk? Derek barely looked up. About what? Just stuff, I said with a small smile. Family things. Kayla froze for a split second. Derek didn't notice. But I did. Sure, he shrugged. Whatever. Perfect. 8:30 p.m. Living room. That's when I called them both in. Derek walked in first, relaxed, holding his phone like always. Kayla came in slower, arms crossed, anxiety practically written all over her face. I was already sitting on the couch. Calm. Collected. Coffee table cleared. Except for one thing. A small paper bag. Okay, Derek said, dropping into the chair across from me. What's this about? Kayla didn't sit. She stayed near the doorway like she might run. Smart girl. Sit, I said softly. She hesitated. Then sat. The silence stretched. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Exactly how I wanted it. Then I reached forward, pulled the paper bag onto the table, and slowly emptied it. 2 pregnancy tests. Different brands. Both positive. The room went dead quiet. Like someone sucked all the air out. Kayla started crying instantly. Derek? He went still. Too still. Who's pregnant? I asked, my voice steady. Calm. No one answered. I leaned back slightly. I'll ask again, I said, locking eyes with him first. Who is pregnant? Kayla broke first. I didn't know at first, she sobbed, covering her face. That was it. That one sentence. That was the moment everything became real. I shifted my gaze slowly to Derek. He didn't look at me. Coward. Didn't know what? I asked quietly. Kayla looked up, tears streaming. That he was still with you. Silence. Thick. Suffocating. I let that hang in the air for a few seconds before speaking again. Still with me? I repeated softly. Then I laughed. Not loud. Not crazy. Just cold. Because now? There was no more guessing. No more doubt. Just truth. Ugly, disgusting truth sitting right in front of me. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. So let me get this straight, I said, voice calm as ever. You've been sleeping with my husband. I turned my head slightly toward Derek. And you've been sleeping with your stepdaughter. Neither of them denied it. Not a word. That silence? That was their confession. And in that moment, something inside me locked into place. Because this wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was war. And they had no idea. I was already 10 steps ahead. You'd think I'd lose it at that point. Flip the table. Throw something. Scream until my throat gave out. But nah. I just sat there, watching them fall apart in front of me. Kayla was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Derek kept running his hands through his hair, like if he messed it up enough, this whole thing might disappear. Pathetic. You're sick, I said quietly, looking straight at him. He flinched. Good. Lena, just listen, he started. No, I cut him off. Calm. Sharp. You've done enough talking. Kayla wiped her face, voice shaking. I didn't know at first, okay? He told me you guys were basically over. Stop, I said, raising a hand. She stopped instantly. I believe you, I added, softer this time. And I meant it. She looked up at me, confused. Because here's the truth, yeah, what she did was wrong. No sugarcoating that. But she was young. Lied to. Manipulated. Him? Different story. I turned back to Derek. This ends now, I said. It already has, he replied quickly. I swear, Lena, I was gonna tell you. I laughed. There it was again. That same stupid line cheaters always use. I don't care what you were gonna do, I said. I care about what you did. Silence. Then I reached for my phone. Tapped the screen. And placed it face up on the table. Here's what's actually gonna happen, I continued. His eyes dropped to the phone. Confusion turned into tension. Because he didn't know yet. But he was about to. I've been documenting everything, I said calmly. Calls. Locations. Dates. That apartment? Yeah, I know about that too. His face drained of color. Kayla looked between us, panicking. Lena, he whispered. You used fake names in your contacts? I continued. That was cute. Real creative. Didn't help though. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. What are you saying? I held his gaze. I'm saying, you don't get to walk away from this clean. The room went still again. I could feel the shift. The moment it hit him, this wasn't damage control anymore. This was consequences. I've already talked to a lawyer, I said. That one landed. Hard. Kayla gasped softly. Derek stood up. You're overreacting. Sit down, I said. And something in my voice? Made him listen. Slowly, he sat back down. Good. Divorce papers are ready, I continued. And trust me, they're not in your favor. You can't. Oh, I can, I said, cutting him off again. And I will. I leaned back, crossing my arms. But that's not even the best part. Now he looked scared. Like actually scared. You see, I said slowly, you didn't just cheat. You didn't just lie. I paused. Let it sink in. You crossed a line that doesn't stay private. Kayla's crying softened into quiet panic. Derek's jaw tightened. Lena, what did you do? I smiled slightly. Not out of joy. But out of control. Nothing yet, I said. Then I tilted my head. But you're about to find out exactly what happens. When I do. Derek thought I was bluffing. I could see it in his face that night, fear, yeah, but also hope. Hope that I'd cool off. That I'd handle this privately. That I'd protect his image like a good little wife. He really didn't know me at all. The next morning, I moved. Fast. First stop? My lawyer. By noon, the divorce was officially filed. Not just basic paperwork either, I went all in. Infidelity. Emotional damage. Financial misconduct. Every single thing I could legally stack against him, I did. And trust me, there was a lot. Because here's the part Derek forgot. He'd been sloppy. Real sloppy. Joint accounts? Yeah, I had access. Hidden apartment? Paid from our shared funds. Work expenses? Yeah, turns out those late-night hotel charges weren't business-related. Every lie left a trail. And I followed all of it. By the time Derek realized what was happening, it was already too late. His cards? Frozen. Access restricted. Lawyer notices hitting his email like a storm. He called me that afternoon. Over and over. I let it ring. Again. And again. Until finally. I answered. What the hell are you doing? He snapped the second I picked up. I smiled, leaning back in my chair. Cleaning up my life, I said calmly. You're ruining everything, he yelled. No, I corrected him. You did that all by yourself. Silence. Heavy breathing on the other end. Then, we can fix this. I actually laughed. Fix this? You got your stepdaughter pregnant, I said flatly. There's nothing to fix. He didn't respond. Because there wasn't a response. So I kept going. Oh, and just so you know, I've already started the next step. What next step? He asked, voice tighter now. This was my favorite part. The one where your little secret doesn't stay a secret. And then I hung up. See, I wasn't interested in revenge for the sake of drama. I wanted consequences. Real ones. So I made a few calls. Important ones. The company Derek worked with? Yeah, I sent them documentation. Not emotional rants. Not accusations. Proof. Timeline. Evidence of misconduct. Because when you mix personal affairs with professional obligations, that's not just messy. That's liability. And companies don't play with that. Within a week, he was suspended. 2 weeks? Contract terminated. Just like that. No job. No steady income. No reputation left to protect. And then came the final move. The one that made sure he'd never outrun this. I filed for paternity verification. Official. Court-ordered. Public record. If he wanted to play both sides? If he thought he could juggle lies forever? Nah. Now he'd own it. In black and white. For everyone to see. Kayla called me that night, crying. I didn't want this to happen, she said. I know, I replied quietly. And I did. Because unlike him, she didn't deserve to be destroyed. But him? I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Because losing his job? Losing his money? That was just the beginning. Now. He was about to lose everything else. The court date came faster than I expected. Derek showed up looking like a completely different man. No confidence. No charm. No expensive watch or perfectly styled hair. Just stress written all over his face, like life had finally caught up and slapped him hard. Good. Kayla sat on the opposite side, quiet, fragile, a shadow of the girl she used to be. My heart hurt for her, it really did. But this had to happen. Because truth doesn't stay buried forever. And consequences? They don't care how messy things get. The DNA results came in within weeks. No surprises. Derek was the father of Kayla's baby. Saying it out loud still feels unreal. Like something out of a twisted movie, not real life. But it was real. And now? It was documented. Official. Permanent. There was no more hiding. No more lies. Just facts. The courtroom was silent when it was read. Derek didn't even look up. He just sat there, staring at the floor like maybe if he didn't move, this would all disappear. It didn't. Child support was ordered immediately. Legal responsibility locked in. And just like that, he was tied to the consequences of his actions for the rest of his life. The divorce finalized not long after. I got the house. Majority of the assets. And most importantly, my freedom. Derek tried reaching out a few times after everything settled. Calls. Messages. Even an email that started with "I miss you." I didn't respond. Not once. Because I didn't miss him. I missed who I thought he was. And that man? Never existed. Kayla moved out a month later. We had one real conversation before she left. "I'm sorry," she said, eyes red but steady this time. I looked at her for a long moment. "I know," I replied. And I meant that too. Because she wasn't the villain in my story. She was another victim of someone who knew exactly what he was doing. We didn't hug. Didn't cry. But there was understanding. And sometimes? That's enough. Months passed. The house felt different. Quieter. Peaceful. For the first time in a long time. I could breathe. No lies. No tension. No second-guessing every little thing. Just me. Rebuilding. Healing. Moving forward. I started doing things I hadn't done in years, going out, reconnecting with friends, even laughing without forcing it. And one night, sitting alone on my couch with a glass of wine, I realized something that hit deeper than everything else combined. He didn't ruin me. He revealed me. Stronger. Colder, maybe. But smarter. Unbreakable in a way I never was before. As for Derek? Last I heard, he's struggling. 2 child support payments. No stable job. Reputation gone. Turns out charm doesn't pay bills when nobody trusts you anymore. Funny how that works. And me? I didn't get revenge. I got closure. Because in the end, I didn't destroy him. He did that all on his own.